Okay, we're up. Here we are.
Hi, everybody.
It's a me, and it's a you,
whip.
and it's a me. Average. Welcome to a now for something completely different episode of the Average Minute. Going in the Wayback Machine, we got what do you like to be called these days?
Whip still.
Whip.
John.
Checks out.
Whip.
Well, you got to go by something because I just printed out 94 pages
Oh, wow.
of documents, starting with John Whipple, in parentheses, settler.
Settler. I like that.
John with an H, though.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if I have all the ammo necessary to get into the entire genealogy of Whip.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a lot.
But you brought the Elder Scrolls,
Yeah.
so it's upside down. But all you out there in podcast land, this is a whole.
This is why it's taking so long to go
Yeah.
through everything.
Yeah, because so.
Look at all them people.
One of the things that I noticed when I was doing some rudimentary research, one of the notes that I jotted down, so I tried to start with somebody that was somewhat notable, and if you can find Edson Whipple on your scroll there,
Yeah. Well, see,
he's a notable character.
he is.
Oh, dude, did I delete Edson? No, there he is.
February 5th, he was born 1805.
1805. That's what I have. That's what I show. Submarine Keys. Died almost. We're almost there to the anniversary of his death.
Yeah.
May 11th,
Yeah.
1894.
Yep.
Look at that picture though. Like I keep trying. So
It kind of looks like
here,
me.
I can't. We're not the Rogan podcast, so I can't like put a screen on the screen. So I'm going with documents printed out. And look at that.
handsome fellow.
Look at that picture of Edson Whipple and see if you can see the resemblance there. He's got a sweet beard. I'll give him that. But yeah, so this dude, so I kind of started to go there, but I couldn't. You can easily go backwards from him because that's where your family
That's
tree
where
kind
it
of
starts.
or ends depending on how you look at it. I mean, he's not
true,
the oldest
true.
guy.
Right. Okay, it starts way over here.
So I was trying to go further forward in time to connect you to him, but
That's when it gets all murky.
he's got at least 30 kids.
Yes. Yes.
So trying to find the correct Whipple that you are, and they like to have a lot of the same, there's a lot of Josephs and,
Yes.
Your prototypical Mormon name.
Exactly.
But yeah, so
And the polygamy too.
yeah,
They're
well, that's why he had 30
polygamous.
kids. I don't think his wife was
A lot of wives.
belting
too.
out 30 kids
He was married 5 times. So
over the course of about 70 years.
yeah. So yeah, he died in Juarez, Mexico. So maybe that's why I like Mexico so much.
Is it Juarez?
Yeah.
I show, Colonial,
Colonial
Yeah,
Juarez,
yeah. Casas
Colonial.
Grandes, Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So
True Mexican.
That's when they went by Fort Whipple on the way down to Juarez.
Yeah, but it wasn't. So I also tried to connect that too. So,
It wasn't actually them, but
right, but Fort Whipple is a completely different family of Whipples.
right.
It's Emil Whipple, the Civil War general guy.
Correct.
He's the one. And then also, if you've noticed, like when we're out in Parker, that mountain range that's on the California side of the river, that's the Whipple Mountains.
I didn't
it's
know
a whole
that.
range.
Did not know that.
It's not
until
just that
Stafford told me.
one peak, but that is also named after Emil Whipple.
I did not know that.
So totally different branch of Whipples. Because I tried to go back on his line and connect the dots between y'all, and that's not a thing.
The Mormons make it tough to do some research.
Right. Well, they weren't Mormons on his line because that was like pre Joseph Smith moving out west kind of thing.
Right. They've split off in Snowflake, and some went down to Fort Whipple that way, and others went another way, and most of them stayed right there in Snowflake.
Right. But your so I was noticing when I was the intro web is actually is actually less informative than this document here. Because on this here, Samuel Whipple, there's a lot of Samuels,
Yes. And John's.
John, and it
Matthew's.
goes back to Matthew. So it
Yes.
goes back another generation than the internet goes.
Oh,
My research stopped at John Whipple. That's the dude that came over on a ship called the Lion from England. Lion with a Y, because
I thought you were going to say the Mayflower.
British. No, he's not that notable. John Whipple, born in 1617,
Yes.
was an early settler of Massachusetts.
And helped form
Yeah,
Rhode Island.
later
correct?
settled Providence in the
Yeah.
colony of Rhode Island, and Providence plantations, where the family became well established. They gave him shit tons of land. So this dude, John, came over from England, got married. It's unclear. So he married this broad named Sarah. It says unknown origin. No idea where she came from.
Sarah Day or Sarah Darlin.
It just says Sarah on my, but that's John Whipple's wife.
Yep.
Sarah Whipple, of unknown origin. No record of their marriage exists. Her gravestone states she was born in, all these towns in Massachusetts are pronounced not how they're spelled, but I'm going to say Dorchester, even though it's probably some bullshit. It's like,
Well, with the accent, it sounds way different.
right. So write in, tell me how bad at Boston I am.
Dorchester.
Right.
It's kind of like wash your sister sauce.
Yeah, Worcestershire.
Yeah, nobody knows how to say
no.
it.
Yeah.
So it says here she was born in 1624.
Right. So she's a little bit younger than him, not by much.
She died at 42.
42. But yeah, so they had 11 kids
They're all right here.
between the two of them, and then I don't know if he moved on and remarried after that.
Oh, I'm sure.
They had 11 kids, 8 born in Massachusetts, and then the other 3 after they moved to Rhode Island. It goes on and on to describe. So can you find a Stephen Hopkins on there? So in earlier episodes, he would have been a great grandson of John Whipple, who came over from England. This dude, Stephen Hopkins.
So he would have been way down here.
He was a great grandson, obviously, of one of the daughters or something. But anyway, we talked before about that dude, Matthew Whipple, who signed the Declaration of Independence. Not on your line.
No.
Totally different Whipple.
Man, I was
However,
ready to get the Declaration on my back.
Stephen Hopkins, great grandson of John Whipple, your ancestor, was governor of Rhode Island, Chief Justice of the Rhode Island Supreme Court, and a signer of the Declaration of Independence.
Wow.
So you do have, it's not direct line, obviously you're not a direct descendant of him, but he is in your, he should be on their document.
Probably somewhere. There's a lot of names on this document.
There's a lot of names. Anyway, Hopkins is the last name. But he's a notable figure, signed the Declaration of Independence. Let's see who else is in this.
So I see some Saffords here. I wonder if they founded Safford, Arizona.
I didn't get that far. I was really only worried about your namesake. Yeah, let's see here. Rebecca Scott, widow of John Scott, son of Richard Scott, Catherine Marbury, Sarah married John Smith, Samuel married Mary Harris, Eleazar married Alice Angel, or Angle,
There's some weird names in the Whipple family.
the daughter of Thomas and Alice Angel. Mary married Epentus Olney, the son of Thomas Olney and his first wife Mary, or Maria Ashton. Epentus.
I don't know.
Pentis' mother is incorrectly shown as Mary Small, Thomas Olney's second wife, and Austin, the genealogical dictionary of Rhode Island. William's wife was named Mary, and Benjamin married Ruth Mathewson. Yeah,
Dude, it goes on and on.
It is. But anyway, this Edson Whipple dude, how much do you know about him?
I don't know a lot. So my dad thought on this page that was his dad, but it's not. That's his great-grandfather.
Yeah, it can't be his dad because he was born in 1832, or wait,
1805.
1805. Right. He got married.
Like, wait a minute.
He got married in 1832 at the ripe age of 27.
So his son is also Edson.
Junior, yeah.
Edson Jr. And then wasn't there another Edson?
Mm-mm.
Because Edson was...
Two Edsons and then...
Forrest.
Yes. Two Edsons and then Forrest and then Warlow.
Warlow, yep.
Yeah.
The original whip.
The original whip. Let's see here. The life story of Edson Whipple, prepared for the Edson Whipple Family Organization by Florence Lunt Fair, whatever. Okay. Edson Whipple was a descendant of John Whipple, who came from England in 1632, settling in Massachusetts, later moving to Providence, Rhode Island. We covered it. Edson's ancestor John is not to be confused with another John Whipple, who migrated with his brother Matthew from Barking, England in 1638 and settled in Ipswich, Massachusetts. So this whole other line of Whipples came over around the same time and settled in the same state, in the same colony, not the same state, because obviously 1600s, barely even a colony.
God, we got to go back to England for...
Those two brothers were the sons of Matthew Whipple. The parents of Edson's ancestor John have not yet been identified. No connection between Edson's ancestor named John and the two brothers from England has yet been established. Edson was the son of John and Basmuth Hutchins Whipple, grandson of Timothy and great-grandson of Samuel. The Samuel thing doesn't really narrow it down because there's like 9 of them in the line.
There's a bunch of them.
Samuel moved from Providence to Connecticut, where he died. John migrated from Connecticut and settled in Vermont in 1780. Edson was born in 1805 in Vermont. He was the youngest son of a family of 12 children, 5 boys and 7 girls. That would be fun bathroom time.
Yeah. Especially back then when they were all outside. Yeah.
Like you just got a hole in the ground with some shoddy fucking wood and a corn cob. The community corn cob. Edson farmed with his family. After his father's death in 1830, he took charge of the farm and managed the affairs of the family members still at home. In 1832, he married Lavinia Goss, who, she had an OnlyFans page.
She's here, 1832.
It was in print.
That was his first wife.
It was oil paintings only, which took a long time to get by courier.
To get to the end?
Yeah.
Boy, she must have made a lot of money.
I'll tell you what. So he married her.
Yep.
In 1834, he moved to Boston, where he ran a grocery store for a year or two. The summer of 1837, he moved with his family to Philadelphia, where he lived for 9 years. It was while living in Philadelphia, he first heard the gospel as revealed to Joseph Smith. So in Philadelphia, he decides to join a cult. So Joseph Smith comes out of the woods, all shown bright like Moses or something, and confides in Edson, like, dude, I'm basically, God's prophet. So listen to me when I tell you there's this whole other gospel that I found. There's these tablets that I just randomly dug out of the ground, and it all makes sense. So just, don't question really anything. Just
follow me.
Yeah, just let's do this. Let's
go west, young man.
We can raise shit tons of money, and someday we'll try to put a guy in the White House. It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a White House. Wait, maybe there was. There was definitely a White House.
Yeah.
Turns out it had already been burned down and rebuilt by that time.
By the slaves, right?
No, what? No, it didn't
No,
get
the
burned
slaves,
down
no.
by the slaves.
No, it got rebuilt by the slaves.
That's possible. We still had them.
Yeah.
But it was the British. They came over and went, just for shits and giggles, we're burning that down. You know.
And look what that cost them.
Yeah. Well, look at them now, eating fucking baked beans for breakfast, dude. Like, who? You ever had an English breakfast?
I have.
God damn, dude. Fucking
When I was poor,
like weird,
yes.
bland sausage and baked
Yeah,
beans.
I'm not a fan of the.
No, it's a weird diet. But you know, the weather is bland. The people are
I
bland.
hate the rain.
It's
like Seattle all the time.
it's a weird place to be from.
Overcast, ugly.
Yeah. That's why we came over here to fight the Indians. And, you know, once we wiped them out, we were
didn't even
like,
know they were
there's not
here."
enough dark people around here.
Let's bring
What are we
some
going
over.
to, like, what even are we going to do about that? That's where, you know, some of the Whipples come in. It really doesn't mention anything about the slave trade, but, you know,
I'm sure.
these temples don't build themselves.
No.
These Mormon temples, they're really expensive and hard to do. The architecture is amazing. What do they call them? A steakhouse? Like the ones on every corner? It's like a steakhouse
Something
or
like
something.
that, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
I can't remember.
I tried ordering a fucking porterhouse. The prophet or
You're the
the
wrong sponsor.
elder guy or whatever was like, well,
Move along.
that's not a thing. So anyway, he meets up with Joseph Smith in Philadelphia. They decide to form a cult. Or maybe, I think Joseph Smith already had the cult going. And Edson was like, this seems like a great idea.
He was recruiting.
He met up with Joseph Smith in 1840. He was baptized and a confirmed member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints by Elder Benjamin Winchester. On October 17th, 1840, he was ordained priest by Elders Hyde and Burns. He was ordained a high priest April 6th by President Hiram
Hurrium.
Hiram Smith, and was chosen to act as first counselor to Elder Benjamin Winchester to preside over the Philadelphia branch of the church. So they're like, look, we're doing so great, you know, you're going to be like regional manager of the cult. We're going to give you this whole branch. Philadelphia, they got a bell, it cracked. They're obviously heathens.
Right.
So we need to, you know, implement some true religion here.
Is that where Philadelphia Freedom came from?
The what?
Philadelphia Freedom.
Probably. I mean,
Probably.
it was the original, like, that's where the Declaration of Independence was signed. That's
Right.
where it's
I've been there, seen it.
where we
Seen the bell.
where
Seen the
we
crack.
said we're free.
Yes.
Liberty Bell, the whole thing. But I don't know about
I
your
don't know either.
jingle thing. I don't know what that means.
Never heard that song?
No.
Philadelphia Freedom?
No.
I believe Elton John sings it.
Well, that could explain why it's not in many of my playlists. I don't.
I'm really shocked you haven't heard that song.
I may have.
I know you have. We'll play it in the break.
All right. We could play it now, but let's not.
Okay.
I wanted to get to this. So in 1842, it says Edson and a company with 12 or 15 others left Philadelphia for Illinois. They began their journey by train, arriving at Columbia, Pennsylvania. They took the old Pennsylvania Canal from Columbia to Pittsburgh on the first Sabbath of the journey. They were detained because of low water. They held 2 meetings in a nearby schoolhouse, recruited some folks. Edson baptized 6 persons, among them the captain of the boat, Jacob Wetzler, and 2 his brothers. The trip from Philadelphia to there lasted 32 days by boat and cost $12.25.
Wow.
And speaking of prices of provisions and other things, about 1842, Edson notes in his journal, lumber costs $10 per thousand, whatever that means. Could I get 1,000 lumber?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
1,000 inches? I don't know.
I don't know. I think, were they still using cubits?
I have
That-
no
could
idea.
I get- how
That's when
many-
a 2x4 was a real 2x4.
How many cubits of lumber do you need? A brick? Oh no, it just says brick was $4.85. I doubt it was for a brick.
Maybe that was cocaine back in the day.
Yeah, how much for a brick? I don't know that they were really trafficking.
That's about the same price as it is now.
Checks out.
Not that I know that, but
Wheat was 30 cents a bushel. Corn, 12.5 cents. Doesn't say what unit of measure. Pork, 1.5 cents. Again, I don't know if they're using cubits or can I get 3 cubits of pork? Beef was 2 cents a pound.
it's probably just a pig, and then you butcher it yourself. You grow it and butcher it.
Oh yeah, so 1.5 cents for a pig.
Could be.
I think that's per pound.
It could
That's
be.
got to be
Maybe.
per pound. Inflation has been out of control since these days. Butter was 8 cents. Eggs were 6 cents a dozen.
Ooh.
Not since the Obama administration has it been that cost effective. Sugar was $1 for 16 pounds.
16
pounds of sugar. Yeah, it was a lot of sugar. Well, they drank a lot of Kool-Aid. You had to get people recruited to the Mormon church. It was, that's where that comes from.
That's where it comes
That's
from.
where fucking what's his name from Guyana,
That's where those
Jim
little
Jones.
packets-
He got everybody to drink the Kool-Aid because they were like, it worked out so great for the Mormons. We're doing it in Guyana.
That makes
and
total
everybody
sense
died.
now.
Because
I
it
get
turns out they used anthrax instead of sugar to make the Kool-Aid.
Whoops.
So, yeah.
When you sit up next to each other in the pantry.
It looks almost the same. It's
almost the same.
Indistinguishable.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're, I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't either. You were talking about his
He was
journal.
he was
His
journaling.
entries.
He said all kind of crazy stuff. This is getting very riveting. There's like more and more pages.
There's a lot of pages.
I was gonna get to the part where he
Met,
Brigham Young.
yeah.
Yeah, because he was like bros.
They were like best friends, weren't they?
Yeah, and then Brigham Young basically had this whole militia. He had this whole army going on in Provo, Utah, which is where. So, if you're aware of kind of how things went back then, if it hadn't been for the Civil War, there may not be Mormons today.
Really?
Yeah. So, who was the president before Lincoln? Was it Johnson?
I have no idea.
Andrew
My
Johnson
history
was
is
Andrew Johnson was
bad.
Lincoln's vice president. Whoever the 15th is, he had it out for the Mormons. He was not a fan. He was like, "Look, we're not going to have this whole cult thing. You guys are fucking screwballs. We're not doing this. America,
Right.
make America, Protestant
I think they're
again." MAPA. It was the first rally cry of conservative Republicans. MAPA.
Mappa.
Make America Protestant again, because there was this whole uprising of nut job Mormons that were, sweeping. It was very popular.
I don't have your Wi-Fi, so that's why.
Oh, you know what? Your phone is totally causing all kind of interference too. Yeah, we figured that out a couple episodes ago.
Sorry.
We can tell you don't listen. So anyway, whoever the president was in those days, preceding Lincoln,
It was.
not a fan of the Mormons, and so they were totally trying to eradicate these folks from the face of the earth, and that's why they started to flee west, because this was not a settled west; it was a very raw, very.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did you watch that series, American Primeval?
I have not yet.
So
it's in my to-watch list, but
It's
I haven't watched it.
absolutely. It's like 6 episodes. It's like a fucking gnarly account of.
James Buchanan was
Okay.
before Lincoln.
That checks out. So they were trying to eradicate these Mormons, and then so the Mormons had to go west, and they basically set up their own homestead. Like, hey, we're making. I mean, it was like it was a territory out there,
Right.
but it wasn't like hospitable.
Nothing was settled or anything like
Everybody was killing everybody out
Right.
there, and so what's his name? Brigham Young was like, well, we're just going to make it art. We're going to make this whole, it's going to be this new, what do they call it? What did he call it? Not Israel, like, basically like the promised land, but there's a one word for it. It's our place. We're making this home. And so the president was like, no, we're chasing you down and we're wiping you off the face of the earth. And then all of a sudden, people in the southern states woke up one morning super upset that they had accidentally voted to free the slaves instead of voting for free slaves.
Okay.
So in other words, they thought they were getting a bunch of free slaves. It turns out,
You're going.
it turns out they voted. They were like, no, let's free the slaves, which didn't work out so very good. So they were like, no, the only way to save this error, this catastrophic error, is we're just gonna. We're noping out of this whole scene. We're gonna. I don't know what y'all are doing up there, but we're keeping them down here. And so the president had to allocate. By that time, Lincoln is obviously in office, and that even set him off even more because they were like, "Fuck this guy, all gangly like some wrestler from fucking Illinois is gonna come in and tell us we can't have slaves. No, we're out." And so they had to allocate vast swaths of resources to fight a war, and almost lost. And by the time the war was over and the slaves were no longer slaves, they were just really cheap laborers.
Right.
It turns out the Mormons had done such a good job fending off the threats from the West in the form of whatever you want to call them, natives, indigenous persons.
Right.
Yeah.
Mexicans.
Well, there was Mexicans. Yeah, they were all over the place. It was worse than it is today.
Absolutely.
I don't mean worse like bad. I just mean it was more. There were more of them. I don't mean worse like it was a real problem.
Right. This was their land at one
In
time.
those days, it was a real problem because we wanted the land. They had the land, and we were like, no, we'll have this thing called Manifest Destiny. It's ours. We're just going to take. When you want the woman, you take the woman. And that's how we looked at basically any piece of land that we wanted.
Right.
Was just, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We're taking it. And there's nothing you can do about it. What are you going to fucking kill all our people at the Alamo? So
Good luck.
we got more people.
Right.
We got trains that run back east and grab more people.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
How'd that work out for them?
Yeah, well, look at them now. They're getting fined $1,000 a day by Christy Nome.
Right.
Because, now they're here illegally.
Right.
And it's, how the turntables, or,
How the tables have
yeah,
turned.
whatever. It's from The Office. I can't even steal that.
I don't even.
If you don't watch The Office,
I never watched The Office.
you're doing
That's
it
one
wrong.
show I didn't do.
How the turntables. Yeah, it's because you can't finish that.
I can't.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
how do you
just
finish?
awkward. It's
Right.
just awkward. But anyway, so your great whatever grandfather dude was like super instrumental in the settling of the West and the fighting off of the Mexicans, and basically holding down the fort for the Americans.
Right.
When they finished up with the other Americans, they
Yep.
came back out west and were like, "Wow, you guys really." You guys didn't throw any parties or anything while we were gone? Like, this place looks great. You got a temple. You got a whole thing. And they were like, here's a bunch of money. Go ahead and keep moving.
I had a feeling they threw a lot of orgies
Well,
with all the wives.
they
and
decided
the-
it was a great idea because, if you know kind of the story, and I apologize, if you're Mormon and you're listening to this, go ahead and write in to the Average Minute and tell me where I done fucked up. Because Joseph Smith was like 15 or something when he dug out these fucking templates or these tablets or whatever out of the ground and conjured this whole story, and all of a sudden spun it into Okay, so like if you went to you went to high school before me, like well before me. But like if I went to high school with Joseph Smith, he'd have been at the table playing Magic the Gathering. Or like in your day, he would have had the 12-sided die. He'd have been like the dungeon
D&D,
master,
yep.
and like going, okay, hold on. It says
he's
you
making up
walk
the game.
you walk into the cave and there's a bear that also got a throbbing cock. What do you do?
What do you do?
Roll for and you're like, wow, it's hard to picture a bear with a throbbing cock. But that's the kind of shit that Joseph Smith came up with.
Yeah.
But before that, before Dungeons and Dragons, he came up with this whole
Maybe he came up with Dungeons and Dragons.
this apocryphal gospel of Jesus Christ, where like, so everybody knows that Jesus died and then came back. It's kind of
That's a long story
it's
too.
speculative whether or not he died or if he was just like in a coma or something.
Right.
Because they didn't have the best medicine back there. Like it wasn't like he was hooked up to a machine monitoring his heart rate. I feel like if I even remotely try to imply that he didn't die, like that's where I'm not trying to go there. I'm saying that there are opinions out there
Right.
that try to explain it with science and go, okay, well, what if he didn't? But anyway, as the story goes, he died, came back, and then ascended to heaven like a couple days later after he met up with his homies, like to go, hey guys, like you see these fucking. I mean, I don't want you guys to feel bad or anything, but like these shits ain't going away. Like they're kind of there.
That's gonna leave a scar.
Like, and don't go piercing yourself now. Like, don't get all these weird. Like, don't put gauges in your ear. Like, this is just for me. Right. You know. Meanwhile, look at us. Like, we got holes everywhere. We got whole tribes of people putting fucking dinner plates in their bottom lip. It's a whole weird thing. So anyway, he left. He went back to heaven. As the story goes, he like kind of on the DL snuck back in without like
Nobody knew.
Yeah. It was like, okay, so remember how he talked to God, who's his dad, who's also still the same person somehow. It's all like if you really want to mind fuck, like try to understand the Holy Trinity, where it's 3 in 1. It's like, the body wash, conditioner, and fucking hemorrhoid lotion all in the same fucking bottle. He comes back, sneaks in. He tells God, he's like, hey, you know how you got all these weirdo other people? You know how the first time I went down and it was like kind of in the desert, Middle East-ish? Mm-hmm. It wasn't really called that then. It was just called Earth. Right. But you know how I went down there and like saved them from their own depravity, and you killed me, mm-hmm. and they're good now. Well, we totally forgot there's these whole other people that, they're very industrious. They build like motherfuckers. Like they can make anything out of brick. They don't work long hours, but the hours that they do work, they're productive. They're productive. And they're like rabbits, dude. Like they will just repopulate this whole planet. But we totally forgot about them the first go around. I feel like I need to go and, hook up with these people and kind of give them my story.
Guidance, yeah.
And then God was like, okay, but listen, if you let these other motherfuckers know that you're back, it's going to be a real problem. So like, don't make a big deal out of it. Just go down there and only see these people. And so he supposedly came to the Americas. And, it's hard to find somebody to transcribe these events with any real legible.
You're doing a great job.
English. What I'm saying is, like, it wasn't like they had a stenographer right. around,
right.
And there were so many different dialects of Spanish. It wasn't Spanish at the time in those days. It was like
Spanglish.
They were just
Spanglish came along later.
Speaking whatever fucking Aztec language they were speaking.
Yeah.
And so he shows up, he does his thing. He's Jesus again, but like 2.0. Like he's got an even more sweet beard. Still got the holes in him. Like he's got like the zipper that opens up, like the big gash in his side. He can. Yeah. It's like party tricks, and they're like, "Whoa, holy smokes!" Like that's the thing. So they all started worshiping him, And one guy, supposedly, Jesus de Juan Garcia Hernandez, was a goldsmith or something, and etched into these gold tablets, you know,
Kind of like a diary type.
this whole story of the second coming of Jesus Christ,
Right.
and then buried him because he was like, oh my gosh, like they were taking ayahuasca. Have you ever, have you ever had ayahuasca?
I have not.
So, okay. So these people in the jungles of the Americas, they have this fucking plant that they will boil down. It's a super crazy process. Like you can't just make it. Like you can't. And it's got to be done by a shaman. It's a whole thing. If you make it wrong, you're 1,000% dead. There's like a very slim margin of victory where like you make it and it comes out right. And all you do is trip balls.
It's kind of like poi.
Yeah, kind of. Like you're most certainly dead if you just try to casually make it at home.
Yeah.
So they're cooking this stuff up and they're drinking it, and all of a sudden fucking Jesus shows up and he's like, hi, how are you? And they're like, holy smokes, what?
Who's this guy?
Yeah, somebody document this. And this dude's sitting there chiseling away at these
What are you doing here?
gold tablets, documenting this whole thing, and then all of a sudden the fucking shit wears off and they're like, if anybody reads that, like,
We're going to die.
what are
kill us.
what are we going to do with this? You can't just erase it. I can't. It's not Etch-a-Sketch. I can't just shake it. What are we going to do? Bury it?
Yeah.
So that's what they did. Next thing you know, fucking Dungeon Master Smith himself is out there and, you know, digs the whole thing up. That's the history of Mormon faith.
And now you know the rest of the story.
In a nutshell, that's how Edson Whipple came. Well, how can you listen to that story and not go, I need to be a part of that?
Right?
Like, I find myself
That's
right now
pretty badass.
wanting to convert.
Yeah.
Like,
to the Mormonism?
yeah, why not?
I'm out.
Well, oh, because, oh, yeah, I'm back out.
Yeah.
So,
I still have uncles and family that are in the Mormon.
how many are you aware of?
That are still
Yeah,
Mormons?
no, like how many people,
Well, I know
how
one
many
uncle.
family members do you like actively know
One.
aside from your dad?
My dad's not in it.
Oh, I just meant like of the Whipple family tree,
Oh, how
which
many?
there's thousands
Oh
of
my
you.
God. I have a huge family.
Yeah.
Our family reunion is probably 100 people.
You could sell tickets to State Farm Stadium.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
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 It's nuts.
Yeah, when we back in the day in our family reunions, man, there was probably 100 people that showed up.
And that was before. So how are any of them still polygamous?
No,
Oh, that's what I was getting to.
the polygamy.
So yeah, that's what brought it up because I was trying to explain. So this fucking dungeon master dude, he digs up these tablets, supposedly finds them without the help of ayahuasca. Somehow just finds the tablets, and
He
he's
was
got
metal
this.
detecting.
What was his wife's name? So anyway, he's like 15, but he's got this chick that he's trying to put
Yeah.
at least one finger in, and she's not terribly impressed because she's like, listen, you can't even chop down a tree, like you're all frail, like what, why, like show me your hog. And he was like, well, I got something better, because in those days you had to have a good story or, you know, come from good lineage. It wasn't
animals,
all
something,
about having the massive hog,
Right.
you know, but she was super shallow and she needed the meat. And so he was like, listen, I'm going places. Like nobody even knows about this yet. I discovered, like, you know how we go to church and like they teach us about Jesus and all this kind of stuff? What if I told you that I could get you in on the ground floor
Of this pyramid.
Yeah, like, but it would be opposite. What if I start it from the top, you and me, and then we'll have vast wealth and
Now, hear me out, though. I need multiple wives.
yeah. Well, not at first, because that's not how any of it goes
No.
at first. It's like, okay, we're going to start this thing. She was like, oh, Joseph, yes, you're my guy. I'll deal with your mediocre wiener. And he's like, trust me, just trust me. I'm going places. And then immediately they get married, they try to have kids. She's like kind of not great at having kids and keeping them alive. And so he's like, fuck, like most wives would do at the time, or most husbands would do at the time. Like, dude, I need somebody that's going to be cranking these kids out.
Right.
Like somebody that looks a little fertile, you know what I'm saying? And if you're the guy that's running the cult, you can just kind of make shit up as you go. If you're a prophet who like talks directly to God, turns out any good idea that you think you have,
They'll follow.
It now just comes from God.
Yeah.
So then you just go to your followers and you're like, listen, I had a revelation last night. And I know you don't know what that means, but I'm going to tell you what that means. What a revelation means. So David, this is where the whole "so David" thing came from. So David, what a revelation is I have a really great idea that I'm kind of bored with my wife, and I think I should just take on as many wives as I want. Like just have, bitches like laying around waiting for me to come home.
One for each day of the week.
And just a mediocre wienering for anyone who wants one. And, but you got to sell that to your wife. Yeah. So the only way you can do that is if it comes directly from the Almighty. Listen, we're trying to grow this church that I started, and God told me that I need to have at least 2 or 3 more wives. Like that's the only way that I can really fulfill my destiny of being the head of the new church.
Right.
So she, reluctant. In those days, it wasn't really like they didn't have like fucking Tinder where she could also have a side piece. It was like she just kind of had to go, welp, okay, I guess,
Did she have a choice back then?
No. I mean, she could have said, no, I'm leaving. I'm going to run away. But then she'd have gotten killed by Indians or sold off into, the sex trade, because that was also big. I mean, there was like the whole Epstein tribe of Native Americans in those parts that were trafficking young women. Yeah. It was a real problem. So he was like, look, where is she going to go? Like, she's going to stay.
Yeah.
She wants all this money that I'm going to make. So he started that whole thing.
That's how he sold it, protection.
But I feel like that's any cult that comes to place it starts off with the best of intentions where somebody goes, hey, this is going to be a great thing. I'm going to take you all to the promised land. We're going to escape this world and we're going to go be in harmony with the Almighty. And he's speaking directly through me and everybody goes, oh my gosh, I love where this guy's going. Everything he says is great. And all of a sudden he comes out with some crazy shit. Like, listen, John, I am now, you and your wife aren't married anymore. She's my wife now. Also, too, I reserve the right to have anal with you whenever I want. And you have to put, just like weird shit where you're just like, you're like thumbing through the manual. You're like, did we cover this in the?
It's not in my notes.
In the initial sales presentation, like I don't remember. Like, oh no, I had a revelation last night. He told me to take your wife as my own, and also you're now my concubine. So you both sleep with me from now on, until I get tired of you, and then because you got that one friend with the mankini. And the Nordic track that's looking pretty good. So anyway, it's a whole cult. But your family is not immune.
It's a trip, isn't it?
It's crazy.
There's
so many notes here.
They had their hands in a lot of stuff, so to speak.
When the pioneers first arrived in Salt Lake City in 1847, that area was still considered part of Mexico.
Yep.
So they just moved to Mexico. What is it with the... I don't know. I wonder if the tablets mentioned, like, hey, y'all want to go someplace great, you need to go down to Mexico.
Right.
All of a sudden, James Taylor starts singing, oh, Mexico. No? See? I know that song. Anyway.
You don't know Philadelphia for you.
I don't. Where are we at? Oh, shit, 44 minutes. Yeah, you need a drink.
I do need a drink.
Okay. We're going to, you know what? We're off this whole subject. Thank you. No, I'm not stopping it, but we're going to take a prostate break. Thanks for putting up with the whole history of Mormonism and how the whips played a factor in starting a cult.
Yeah.
We'll be black. You stay white there.
Ooh.
And we're back.
Much better now.
I got a new one. I got the. We'll give them a. They've been. I left the other bottle. We got this Still Austin or something. This one is cask strength, and you say it is 116 proof.
It's something like that.
Aged at least 2 years. So yeah, I have not opened this one yet, but I opened the other one that's not the 116 proof. It's like the regular proof.
Yeah, that tastes pretty good.
But it is. It's very, very smooth. We'll give those guys a plug.
58% volume.
Where are they out
alcohol.
of? San Antonio?
Austin, I'm guessing.
I would imagine. I would hope. With a name like Still Austin.
Yeah, hopefully.
But they are, so the other one's got the same tag on it. The World Spirits Competition Double Gold. So it's actually pretty legit. So what you want to do is head on over to your nearest
Total Wine,
or Bevmo. I'm assuming they would probably have it as well.
Probably, yeah.
And your
Sure.
finer, more upscale liquor dispensaries. Speaking of dispensaries, dude, how bummed are you that so there was this whole debacle that went down today. I was gearing up for Lake Weekend this weekend and doing my customary Total Wine order on the app. And if you recall the last episode, however many weeks ago, titled "Hi, How Are You?" I went into great detail with my proclaiming my love for these THC infused beverages that I've been getting
fantastic
at Total Wine.
They are fantastic.
And just the convenience that I can go right on my app and go, want to get high? And
I wonder if the dispensaries are going to carry them now.
well, they have to, because the beverage makers they're not just going to be like, oh. So anyway, I was doing my order this morning, and I go, I'm going to need some of them beverages because I've been drinking them at the lake. It's a really great way to start.
They're very calming.
Really great way to start the day.
Absolutely.
Like we get out there to the sandbar, get all set up, and I'm like fucking reaching that cooler, pull one of them shits out, and next thing you know, I'm not drinking 40 beers out there. Like it's a great way to just relax the hell out and not drink 20 beers while you're out there at the sandbar. So it's become part of my lake routine, and I was very, very disappointed when Total Wine had scrubbed their entire website of these beverages.
You and mine did too.
Well, turns out I sent Mrs. Average to the store to pick up the order when it was ready, and I told her, you better ask somebody when you get there because this is a big part of who I am now.
Right. Right.
And it turns out the Attorney General of Arizona said, no, you can't just sell weed at a liquor store. So they put the kibosh on it.
So what do you think's worse, THC or alcohol?
In what regard?
I mean, as far as
like danger to the public? What do you mean worse? Worse like the level of Mexicans that we're at versus where we were?
You can only get so high, but you can get really, really, really drunk.
You can get really fucking high too.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's what you're asking. At what point does my getting really ridiculously high, am I going to cause harm to other people, or is it going to? I'm not going to smoke myself to death.
Right. And I'm not saying you're going to go out and drive.
Well, I would never consider being under the influence of any controlled substance while operating a motor vehicle, especially a boat.
I appreciate the bed tonight, though. Cheers.
Yeah, I would never operate especially a boat while under the influence of any alcohol or otherwise. Good morning, Missy.
That's why we stay out there so late, so you can come down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do all my drinking early, and then I got to be able to get a
Right.
whole boatload of people back through the Sea of Galilee.
Well, that and the steering on the boat isn't very
Oh,
good.
dude, it's funny. It's actually worse this year.
Really?
The steering, yeah, I got to do something. The steering is super tight. It's
Yeah.
like I'm driving an old John Deere. It's real.
Do you need one of those handles on it?
It's
Those balls?
it's real tight. So I got to figure something out. I don't know if it's the hydraulics or what. But anyway, we're getting off the point. The point is, I can't get my my weed beverages any longer at Total Wine, thanks to the Attorney General. And the guy at Total Wine basically told Mrs. Average, all you can do is write your Attorney General. And I'm like, yeah, I'm getting right on that.
Yeah.
Here, dear Mr. Attorney General. I don't even know if it is a Mr.
I don't
Who is
know.
the
I
Attorney
have
General?
no idea.
You know what? I'm gonna go to the United States Attorney General,
There you go.
Pam Bondi,
Let's go to Pam Bondi.
and she's definitely gonna do something about it.
Let's make THC great again.
It's not, yeah, make America, Maha,
The humming
make
just
America
stopped
high again.
in my head.
Oh, you know why? Because the humming that you were hearing
Was that ice
was the
machine?
ice machine.
Which one though?
It was the Cube Ice one.
Oh,
So you heard the crackling. That was the
yeah.
freezing of the ice, and now it's going to dump, and
Gotcha.
you'll hear that. It's really good audio for the podcast. Yeah, we're definitely moving into the podcast studio as soon as we start generating a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
Because
Can I donate $3?
that furniture ain't cheap. I actually did have one of the sponsors of the podcast offer to donate. What did he say he was going to donate? Something. Oh, shelves. But
Oh.
you can't sit on shelves.
Right.
Man of my stature will break a shelf right off the wall.
Right.
Like that-
You got to have really big.
yeah, it's yeah. Kelly was going to put her trapeze. Anyway, never mind. That's hi. How are you? No, I'm not. But this is so. What you want to do is go to Total Wine and pick up some of this Still Austin bourbon. It's really good stuff.
I don't know. It's better than just drinking the same old thing all the time.
For sure. I do.
Try
I just
something
that's
different.
how that other bottle when you showed up here and I was drinking that I think it's called Traveler, which is not bad. We'll give them a
Is
plug
that
too.
from Chris Stapleton or no?
I don't know. I don't know where
You sure about that?
I don't know.
I think he's part of it.
Here. Let's see.
I didn't want to.
Let's Jamie, look that up.
Right. We should have
Traveler
Mrs. Average over there looking shit up.
Traveler whiskey.
I think Chris Stapleton's part of
Let's
it.
see. Buffalo Trace Distillery. Oh, it's from Buffalo Trace.
Oh, is
No
it?
wonder I like it.
Yeah, Buffalo Trace is very
I didn't
good.
even know that. I just saw the bottle and when I was at the store one day, and I was like, you know what? If you really drink bourbon, if you're not just like picking up randos
Right.
and taking them home and drinking them.
Yeah.
So
That's how you found Buffalo Trace, right?
no.
And Woodford Reserve too, right? That's
Well,
pretty
Woodford's been around for a while.
good. Yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
Turns out Buffalo Trace has been around longer than any of them,
Yeah,
but
it's been around a while.
it's
Pretty
the
good.
oldest distillery in America.
That's all they have at the office.
So back when John Whipple came over from England,
I brought bourbon with
he
us.
started Buffalo Trace. No, Buffalo Trace has been around since like before.
Prohibition.
No, well before Prohibition, before the United States was the United States.
Really?
Been around since like 1750 something or 1760 something.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. In Kentucky.
All right.
Anyway,
You know what? He is a part of Traveler Whiskey because he was at the Daytona 500.
Chris Stapleton was?
Yes, and the sponsor of one of the cars was Traveler Whiskey.
Huh. All right. Did it have a sweet beard?
Yeah,
Okay. The car.
it's a
The-
Traveler.
the
Yeah, it
NASCAR.
was a beige color. It was
Because they ain't winning shit anyway. It
No.
was like, oh, we can put a beard on this car that's supposed to be aerodynamic. Just put a big windsock
I
on the
wanted
front.
to say it had to do with Dale Earnhardt Jr. too, but I can't.
Mm,
Don't quote me on that. But
I'm not going to quote you.
okay, you don't like NASCAR, do you?
I'm not a fan.
No?
No. There's, turns out I would probably be more hanging out with Joseph Smith playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Then
There-
watching NASCAR?
There are few things that I would not pick over NASCAR. Like I'm quite certain I would rather give myself a vasectomy with fingernail clippers in the dark than watch NASCAR, especially in person.
You'd have to have a mirror involved.
No, because I
you
get,
can't-
dude, no,
can't get down there.
no, they pull like it's like taffy, dude. It's like silly putty. I could do it. I got bat wings, dude. That are tremendous.
Especially
and I
in
could
the
just
summer.
slice them shits right there. Carterize the whole thing. Like, yeah, dude, that shit'll pull out onto my belly button.
That's a visual I did not need.
The shaft is not that impressive, but the sack is.
They're all taters, no meat.
It's a lot of tater. That's a big potato. So you were talking in the break, like, so we're I don't know, 6 weeks behind the internet apparently on the whole 100 men versus a gorilla thing. Where are you at with that,
dude?
Because I have a theory about it.
It's viral discussion.
Yeah.
On the interweb.
Well,
apparently.
I feel like I feel like it came and went already.
Dude, I think a gorilla would destroy 100 men.
Okay, so
A gorilla is stronger than 100 men.
Well, okay, cumulatively, no.
You don't think a gorilla?
Hold on, no, because I got different. There's metrics that can be applied.
All right.
What I'm saying is, if you measure the strength, so the whole thing is, it's 100 like regular guys. We're not talking like
me and you.
It's not 100 George St. Pierre's. It's
right.
like
100 me and yous.
Yeah, it's just
and throw a David in there just for
100 dudes and a fucking Jimmy Fulton.
And,
Like for good
right.
for good measure. Although you get that guy
it.
greased up and he could like he's
you never know.
that guy's wiry. And there's nothing that you can't even like. He doesn't have a chin to grab a hold of. Like you couldn't even.
Right. You couldn't choke him out.
They talk about guys having a glass jaw. Like if you can't hit the jaw, like
if he goes down like this,
he's never been knocked out.
No,
that guy.
No.
So that's your secret weapon right there. Is you throw one of them dudes in. So my thing is, yes, 100 men. If you combine the strength of 100 men, it will surpass the strength of a gorilla. But that's not how a fight goes down. That's not how a fight works.
So would all 100 men rush him at the same time?
Okay, even if you did that, there only so many could be physically combatant at the same time.
So maybe 10 guys.
Yeah. So okay. So now it's really just a matter of you. How long can the gorilla last? Because he's wiping out any dude that like comes near. So it's a matter of stamina, and that's what we don't know is if they have explosive strength or if they have durability. Like, can they? Because if all of a sudden, say you go, we're going to rush them 5 at a time. We got a bank of 100 guys. So we got 20 shots at running 5 guys at this gorilla.
Right.
Can he make it through 20 rounds of 5 guys?
I think so.
I think so, too.
Could you imagine being in the last group after he's wiped out
well, it's
first
like
19
it's
dudes?
like any movie where the one guy that's like the main character that never can, he's got to fight 20 guys, and they just all go one at a time, and then he makes quick work of them, and then being the last guy is like, well, I'm dead for sure, but here we go anyway because it's on the script. I think a gorilla, there's no chance that a guy or even a handful of guys has even the remotest chance at even doing any damage to the gorilla at all, like at all. So it's just a matter of stamina for the gorilla. Like, does he have enough?
How would they do damage to the gorilla? Like punched him in the face or what?
See, I don't know that it works that way.
I don't think so either.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can.
You'd have to have weapons,
like body shots, like hit him in the kidneys. Like I don't think that's.
There ain't no way.
Yeah. So you'd have to rely on trying to break a limb, and then like get behind him and try to choke him out. Twist his neck, something. Like I don't know.
Just pop it.
Yeah, just. Like, he done.
His fucking neck is this fucking big around. His head is like this.
Well, if you get in there,
right in there,
yeah, he's gone.
I can see that.
If I stand here and distract him, if I do a little do a little dance, lick a little nip, you know? And then all of a sudden he's like, what? Meanwhile, Jimmy Fulton's on his back. Like just, he dead.
I almost spit my drink out.
Like okay, I shouldn't say there has to be a way, because there really doesn't, because I don't think there's any chance that,
Maybe 1,000 men.
I don't think so. 1,000, well, okay.
You don't think 1,000 men could beat it?
So again, I think
what's the number?
I think it comes down to stamina, because you're not, whether it's 100 guys or 500 guys or 1,000, like only so many guys can attack the gorilla
Right.
at the same time.
Right.
Like physically being able to fit around this animal.
Right.
So you can't. So it's just a matter of, okay, if it's 5 can attack at a time, then you got 20 rounds of 5.
Right.
Or if it's 1,000, you got 200 rounds of 5.
Right.
And can the gorilla make it through 200 rounds? I don't know. I think that gorillas are, I mean, if we're talking like a silverback, like, dude, their strength is like, it's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
Like, he'll just rip you in half.
Did you see where
instantly.
he grabbed that guy in the jungle and just
Yeah,
drug him
like
and then just let him go?
Yeah.
It's like he was nothing. Like a rag doll.
It is. It is nothing for them.
Yeah.
So I think it's safe to say that this whole idea that 100 dudes could defeat a gorilla is, I mean,
That's dumb.
is it a sick gorilla? Is it,
I don't even know if I'd want to go after a sick girl.
is it even mildly autistic?
It's a little bit retard.
Like-
It's got a little bit of the tard, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't like to drop the hard R, but,
They got immense strength.
they do. They do have the hard R strength.
You want to put that back up?
I just didn't want to knock it off the table, because that would have been,
As I knock it off the popcorn machine.
yeah. So I don't know. I think that it's a silly argument to be made in the first place. Is could 100 dudes?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the number is. Is there an animal in the wild? Like, what about a Bengal tiger or a grizzly bear?
Oh, man.
Dude, I watched this documentary last week about this dude that fucking went and lived with the grizzly bears. Naturally, it's no spoiler alert. Everybody knows the story. He fucking got eaten by the grizzly
Right.
bears. But for like 13 years or something, he
Yeah.
lived with these bears.
Yeah.
Like, not consecutively, like just out there in the wild, like Tarzan. But like for the summer, because it was in Alaska, and he could only spend like a few months out there in the summertime.
Yeah. Well, they hibernated.
Because of
and
weather
everything,
and whatever. So for like 13 years, he was out there living with these bears. And then just one day, the bear's like, I'm a fucking bear. Like,
too. What are you doing
yeah,
here?
and eats him. And,
It was all on film, too.
well, it wasn't.
That part
He
wasn't.
turned the camera on, but he had the cover on. So there was no video footage, but the audio.
The audio was...
They don't play it. It's a Werner Herzog documentary. It's really. I don't even want to say it's really good. But it's entertaining a little bit. But it's like what's going to happen. The guy's a total weirdo. But how much do you think that, like, is there a number of guys that could defeat a grizzly bear?
Man, if they're pissed off, a mama bear pissed off.
Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, I saw Leonardo DiCaprio like kind of win.
Dude, all right, that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
The Revenant.
Yes.
I watched it once,
Horrible.
and
I barely got through the first 20 minutes.
I'm not a big fan of Leonardo DiCaprio, to be honest.
No?
I think my favorite body of work, not body of work, but piece of work that he did, I think, was Wits Eating Gilbert Grape. Speaking of hard R, I think
That's where you went.
I think
I'm thinking you're going to say Wolf of Wall Street,
no,
Titanic.
but Titanic. Come on, dude, he was a douche. Like, no,
He got the girl.
he did. Well, okay, until she was like, "Oh, you know how there's all this extra room on this fucking door? You're probably not going to fit." And he's like, "Oh no, it's fine. I'll just die." Yeah, it was a terrible movie. Terrible movie. And yeah, I think What's Eating Gilbert Grape is one of his best. He played a really good special needs character.
He did. So did Sean Penn.
Yeah, yeah, a little less believable.
Dustin Hoffman played a good one.
Which movie is that?
The one with what's his name? The pretty boy.
Oh, Rain Man.
Rain Man.
Yeah. How did I miss that? How did I not remember that? Of course, Rain Man.
Tom Cruise.
Although he wasn't full hard R though. He was just like super autistic.
Okay.
He was autistic savant.
Right.
And which, he didn't have like freaking Down syndrome or
no. True.
He wasn't making grilled cheese sandwiches at night. But what was I even talking about? Oh, is there an animal? Like, is there?
I don't know.
What about any animal in water? Do you like, if you got, even with equipment, like if you got fins, if we got like 100 scuba divers with fins, like no harpoons because that's cheating.
Take out a shark.
Yeah, or
like a great white.
Yeah, or even like a
whale
or an orca.
Oh,
something.
Those things, man! They throw. Did you see them throw those seals?
Yeah, you watch them like they cause the wave and just wash the seal off for the next one to come by and snatch it up. And they're great.
They're smart.
They're great team players.
Yeah, they are. They get in pods and get those seals in there and get them. Man,
I don't know. I don't think there's any. I think maybe like a ferret. I could probably defeat a ferret or something.
I don't know. They bite pretty hard.
I had a ferret.
Didn't that one bite you in Oregon?
What, a ferret?
No, the chipmunk.
No.
It's the same.
No, I think it was Steve.
Oh, that was.
I think, yeah.
He was feed. Was it? I thought
you
got
it was like,
bit too.
No, it was a piece of a granola bar or something. He was trying to feed it.
It was one of those.
I have been bit by a squirrel, but it was not in Bandit. But I'll tell you what, I could probably defeat that bitch ass squirrel. Like if it came up, I could probably like psych and then grab it and just, because that's what they do. If you hold out some food, they'll just come up to you.
Yeah.
But they don't want to take the food right out of your hand, so they'll distract you by biting your finger, make you drop the food,
right.
and then they grab it. They're smart. But I could probably outsmart it. I could probably hold some food over here and then just break it right in two. I could
their peripheral is pretty good.
I could probably defeat a squirrel.
All right.
Probably
take the teeth out. And
I could probably defeat it. I might be able to. Well, listen, you start getting even like a little bit bigger than a squirrel, and it becomes questionable. Like a dog, dude. Like, dude, how often you see some bad motherfuckers that are like trying to fight the cops, and all of a sudden that dog, the fucking meat missile comes out, and like, nah, he dead. Like, if they don't pull the dog off, he dead.
Just ask Gibson.
Yeah, that went over real well.
Right.
It's all over the internet. Yeah, so like somewhere in between a squirrel and a German Shepherd is the threshold of like what you could easily defeat on one-on-one hand-to-hand combat.
Right.
And I don't know what that is. Like a fox? Do you think you could beat a fox?
Oh, yeah.
You think you could?
Yeah.
They got sharp teeth.
Yeah. Well,
that would hurt. If it starts biting the tender bits, then like just the little nip, and then
in the short meat.
Yeah, just and then
Yeah, but you can still function with a dog bite.
You could probably boot it from here to there, and then have some time to recuperate while it comes running with its short legs, running back at you.
Take their jaw and just.
You would think so, but the bite strength is probably tremendous, like way more than you think it is.
Maybe people are thinking about King Kong
when they're thinking about the gorilla.
The 100, yeah.
Dude, that's even worse.
I know.
We're just talking about a regular ass gorilla,
regular silverback, right?
Yeah. And dude, they couldn't defeat King Kong with aeroplanes.
Right.
He was on a whole ass building, and they couldn't defeat him.
Yeah.
Because he wanted that good blonde.
He was a polygamist.
It's like, where are the white women at?
This is going to be my wife. And you're going to be my bitch, too.
I'm taking this one, and we're going to the penthouse.
Right.
Fuck that elevator. I'll go on the outside. Right. Dude, they flew airplanes, and they couldn't defeat him.
That's true.
Meanwhile, that's a totally imaginary thing. I think there has to be there has to be an animal, at which point it would actually be a pretty good
The
fight.
threshold, yeah.
It would probably be a good fight, but you would ultimately lose.
Chimpanzee?
No, that would definitely kill you. That'll rip your whole face off, like for sure.
One person or
Oh no, one person.
you're talking one-on-one.
Yeah, 1-on-1, hand-to-hand combat. Chimp, you lose.
Yeah, they're
1
strong,
million
man.
%.
Monkeys are strong.
They will rip your whole face off.
Yeah.
They rip your dick off, dude. They do. It's documented. Like, I'm not even making this shit up. Like, they will fucking rip your genitals off and your face. They just
I know about the face. I didn't know about the genitals.
They will rip your dick clean off.
I'm out.
Yeah, it's not something to be trifled with.
So it's like they're married.
Yeah, it really is. It's like they said they were just going to go play 18 with the boys, but then they come home at like 11 p.m.
Speaking of, have you seen the next video that's hot on the web right now
What's that?
about when you're putting on a green?
Oh, the rules of golf. Why
Yes.
don't you walk our listener through that?
So if you're putting on a green, and they were talking about Pinehurst number 2, I believe. You're above the hole.
I didn't listen to the audio.
It's
It was a one of those what's the ruling
Yeah.
things.
So I'm almost positive they said Pinehurst number 2.
It looked like it. Probably.
They were above the hole, downhill putt,
Yeah.
and they hit it a little too hard, past the hole, down into the bunker.
Into the bunker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a birdie putt.
Okay.
So your next putt's for par, or your next shot is for par.
Right.
They're saying instead of hitting your next shot, you can pick up the ball, take stroke and distance, go back to your original spot, and putt from there.
So how is that stroke and distance?
I have no idea.
Because if you're just
Because you're moving closer to the hole.
well, no. Well, yes, but if you're taking a stroke penalty and replaying from where, like, so for example, if you hit your tee shot OB, you can re-tee, hit 3.
Right.
Or if you hit your tee shot in the fairway, then you hit your second shot OB. Instead of going up to where it went out, you
Right,
can
you
go
can
back to
re-tee.
where you originally played,
Right.
and you hit your second shot out, so you're dropping 3, hitting 4.
Right.
So I guess it's the same thing. If you're on the green, and let's say it's your third stroke, and you hit your third stroke into the bunker, 20 feet past the hole, down into a bunker, you can take your stroke penalty. So that was your third shot. You can take your stroke penalty, drop 4, and hit 5, and re-putt from the same place you just played from.
Putting for a bogey.
So I don't understand how that works, though, because
It didn't go out of bounds.
Wouldn't that be the same thing as taking an unplayable when it's not unplayable?
Right. It didn't go out of bounds. It's not unplayable. It's
Yeah. But the ruling from the USGA is that it's stroke and distance somehow, and I don't understand how that works.
we got to look that ruling up.
I think somebody
I think
who
it's
is an
bullshit.
expert in the rules of golf should write in.
Stafford. Let's get Stafford on that.
He's probably the only one listening. You know how I said our listener?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet
so-
he would probably be the only one that used that rule.
I'm telling you what, if it's a rule, I'm doing it at Worlds because I'm
Right.
probably putting
And it's going to
off
be
the
a
green.
big yeah, those greens are fast.
into a bunker. I forgot that we also sometimes talk about golf on this podcast. Do you want to? I feel like, do you want me to address the big giant elephant in the room?
Which is
So you sent like a multi-page email out to our golf chapter.
we don't need to get into that. I mean, we only had 2 people quit because of it.
Well, I was going to fall on the sword and be like, look, I'm tired of being at the course for fucking 8 hours.
Exactly. That's the reason I sent that email out. It's getting ridiculous.
And I was going to also recommend that the whole reason why you said, hey, look, no more fucking pre-pairing. Like, I'm not
Right.
sitting there putting everybody's pairings, their choices together to who they want to play golf with.
Right.
We're just hitting the random button. There is so much to be said for there's so many reasons why we are a better chapter than most of the chapters in the MGA. And a lot of it has to do with the camaraderie
Absolutely.
that makes us what,
I think everybody gets along in our chapter.
yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. I have a list of people that cannot play with other people, but other than that, you know.
So we've been talking about it, but just hit the random button. Like, who cares who you're paired with?
Yeah.
Like, that's how you get to know people.
Well, I'm always going to be either in the first or second group, no matter what. You'll be in the first or second group, no matter what.
Right. Because we have to do all the scoring and
But I mean, if it's going to take 6 hours to freaking get everything done, I mean, I do have another announcement. We can do it off air.
Well, you're going to make an announcement.
Well, no,
we'll do it at another time.
Yeah. So if we play a 5-hour round and then it takes 2.5 hours to go through awards and skins, I mean, that's ridiculous.
It is. It's unacceptable.
It is.
It shouldn't be how this, how we spend our Sunday.
No, we should be in and out of there within 6 hours.
Waiting around for people to finish their round of golf.
Yeah, if we tee off at 7, we should be out of there by
First of all, it's disrespectful to the course and everybody else on the course.
Absolutely.
We put ourselves out there as a, and we're a fun group of guys that go out there and we play mediocre golf. We drink a lot of beer. The courses like us for that reason.
Yeah.
But they don't like us for the reason that we actually cost them money because there's so many tee times that they can't sell because we're out there tying up the course for 7 hours.
And there's more and more courses that are not answering my call for a tee time for a tournament.
Right. So we're
because of our pace of play.
We're going to be limited to.
We're going to have to start traveling.
Well, we already do
Phoenix,
that.
like Phoenix does, though. You know what I mean? Phoenix is playing Cowdy Lakes.
Yeah. Well, they're trying to be the all-encompassing Phoenix chapter with both of their members, which
they have 12 people,
that doesn't really work out.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure this podcast has more listeners than they have members in their chapter.
That could be.
That's a bull. Who would win? The average minute audience or the Phoenix chapter of the MGA hand-to-hand combat?
I know all 3 of them combined. Well, there's 4 of them now. There's 3 in the East Valley and 1
I thought you were
north.
saying listeners, and I'm like, wow,
Well,
we have 4 listeners now.
Yeah, I think you do.
I know. Good morning, Missy. She's got the Cholo fucking, like, you don't want
Yeah. She was, it's funny that thing you sent out today about the guy's trip golfing with the gambler and the degenerate and the freaking whatever. She sends me a text on the side. So who's who? I'm like,
I did that on purpose because I almost sent it the boys only, and then I was like, no, you know what?
Let the girls figure it out
because I know who's who. That's why I said we all know who's who.
We all know who's what.
But I knew there was going to be speculation from the WAGs section about wait, who is my husband?
Right. Who's the stick?
Right.
That's what I told David. I said, dude, nobody thought you were the stick ever.
No, he's.
Sometimes
I don't want to say publicly which one he is, but we all know. We all know which one he is.
Yes.
Good morning, Tracy.
I don't know if she listens.
No, she probably doesn't listen. She is starting her own podcast, though.
Oh, really?
We're probably going to have to do a crossover episode because
have her on.
She's doing this. So she's doing. She signed on with the Iron Grizz Network. Then they're doing this whole like life coach. How to become the best version of yourself. So you know how David is constantly the best version of himself at all times.
Yep.
So she does this whole be the best version of yourself kind of like that's her brand. So she's starting a podcast to make people the best version of themselves. I think it's mostly geared toward women.
Oh.
But listen, you point out more of an expert on middle-aged women than average motherfucking Johnson. Like, I know middle-aged women.
Yeah.
I know what they want.
Do you?
When you want the woman,
you take the woman.
And I think I need to go on that podcast.
I think that would be a good
offer fresh insight because
absolutely.
It's just an echo chamber. You get a bunch of 50+ women that sit around and it becomes a book club. It's the View.
Right.
Like every once in a while, you need some meat on that View panel to bring a fresh
Why
perspective.
do you keep doing that when I'm taking a fucking drink?
So I
You
think
could be the beef.
I am. I am the beef.
Absolutely.
I'm bringing it. I'll bring the sack. Okay.
You'll have to like do a double podcast where you're on your podcast.
Oh, we're doing conjunctive podcasts,
Yeah.
both live stream. Like
Yeah.
she's over there, and we're just talking to
Yeah,
each
we're
other,
like
but
different
we're
places.
both recording different podcasts.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That
Dueling podcasts.
you might get a couple more listeners.
Right. Ooh, that's what I need is a bunch of middle-aged women tuning into the average
We
man.
only tune into one.
Listen, we're not here to make friends.
No, we are not. I'm really surprised it hasn't been canceled yet.
Listen, you'd have to have listeners in order to be canceled.
That's true.
They'd have to threaten you with.
You can never run for office.
So you know how you have listeners? How would you like to not have listeners? And I would go, no, don't take away my listeners. Now I'd be like, what listeners? Give a shit.
Right.
And they don't care. They're like, nobody's listening to him anyway. Who cares what he says?
Right. Exactly.
Like, how much more of a problem with Mexicans could you possibly have? I don't have a problem with Mexicans. Some of my favorite people are Mexicans, not including David Rodriguez, who's not Mexican, by the way.
High definition Steve.
He's not Mexican either.
He's Spanish.
Right. Turns out there's a difference.
True. They're Spanglish.
British, American. I'm not British.
Right.
I'm American. Turns out there's a difference.
Oh, that means you're a racist.
Between
apparently.
British and American?
No, because if you fly the flag nowadays, people think you're racist.
Oh yeah, well for sure. Yeah. It is one of the most hateful things you could possibly display in front of your home is American flag. Yeah.
But everybody else can fly their flags here.
All right. Well, now this sounded like Fox News. Okay, Brett Baer. Goddamn.
All right. So, anyways, back to that putt thing.
Yeah. Anyway, so the moral of the story: if you've learned anything from this episode, aside from
is it like a 2-hour podcast?
No, we're only at like 120. I'm just trying to think here if I missed anything in the genealogy of the. Why don't I have this document printed out? General Whipple's ancestors. Who is General Whipple?
I have no idea.
The presentation of the portraits of General
gonna be
William Whipple, signer of the. Oh, okay. So I had this printed out a long time ago.
It's going to be me going to the Worlds with all those new long drive and closer to the pin.
You got all those? You won all
Not
those?
yet, but I will.
All right,
I'm going to start winning them.
This document is trash because this isn't even your same line. This is the guy that signed. This is the William Whipple guy that signed the Declaration of Independence. Turns out
we were trying to make the connection.
Well, see, what confused me is in his line is this Captain John Whipple, who you are also a descendant of, but it's turns out it's a totally different Captain John Whipple. There were two John Whipples that came over from England.
Whipples.
One came over on the Lion. The other one came over on the
Swan.
It doesn't even say what it was called. It was like, I don't know, the HMS something. I don't know. Anyway, totally not even the same Whipple.
So close.
But I had that printed out when I thought that you were in the line. That was when you had the tattoo.
I'll be
drawn
general.
up.
I'm almost a general.
Why aren't you a general? In the Mediocre Golf Association?
Yeah.
I think you're a general.
It's like a chapter leader, right?
Yeah. It's
Same
a general. You run an entire fucking brigade.
Yeah.
Of whatever you want to call us.
Yeah.
Does that make me at least like a staff sergeant?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
You're captain.
As long as I get to be like a non-com.
You're probably a captain.
Captain? So who's... All right. Well, then where's all the majors and colonels and
I
shit?
don't have any of those.
Oh, okay. So it goes general captain? Where's the chain of
really
command?
A general. I'm not really a general. I'm just a tour guide.
So if the supreme leader of the Allied forces, or the president, El Presidente himself, is the president, and then y'all are generals.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, y'all have your own
5-star generals.
So
I guess so, huh?
So I'm not even.
Look at that.
I'm just a captain.
You'd be a 4-star.
No, I'm not also a general. Turns out I'm not in charge of anything.
You'd be, was it lieutenant next? I don't even know.
I just want to be the propaganda minister. I want to be like Goebbels. What? So anyway, Listen, I'm not saying I want to be like him in the fact that I don't want to
You better
emulate.
explain that.
I don't want to emulate his particular opinions or behaviors. What I'm saying is, he was pretty effective. I'm not. You don't have to agree with anything he said or did. I'm just saying he ran a pretty tight propaganda machine.
Got the job done.
Got a lot of people. Did you know that there was this whole call to return to the fatherland back in the 40s or in the 30s rather? Before they
I'm not a very
knew.
big history buff.
What?
I'm not a big history buff. You are, and my brother's a huge history buff.
I just like learning about that kind of stuff, even if it's not true. I don't want to reveal any secrets, but there might be some history that I voiced earlier that isn't exactly true.
Is it satire?
Listen, it's a good story.
It's a great story.
But I'm not making this up, though. The Germans knew shit was going to pop off. They were like, look, we're going to take over the world. And they actually proclaimed to all true Aryans, return to the fatherland and be part of this. And shit tons of Germans left America to go back to Germany.
Careful how high you lift your arm.
Yeah. They went back to Germany to join Americans left America and went back to Germany and joined up.
Were they pissed off the government?
No, it was a thing. It was like
call to arms type of thing.
Okay, so for example, I've thought heavily about, hey, I'm just gonna fucking move to Mexico. Not like I want to. I don't want to denounce the United States or anything like that. But I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna lay on a beach somewhere. I'm gonna live my best life.
I got you.
If I did that, let's say I was there for 10, 15 years, and then all of a sudden shit pops off, and America's like, all you Americans come.
Come back. You're gone.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm America.
There's a lot of expats that live down in Mexico.
So that's pretty much all it is. But all I'm saying is this dude was so effective at the propaganda that he was convinced people, because if you recall, in the time in between World War I and World War II was not a great time for Germans. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of them left and came over here. They were like, oh, this place fucking sucks now. Let's go have a good life over in America. And then all of a sudden, this dude fucking gets on the Squawk Box. He started a podcast that was so effective. It was better than Rogan. This guy Goebbels had a podcast that was you need to come back to the fatherland and be a part of this. We're making Germany great again. And they did. They bought into it. They were like, fuck yeah, we're coming back.
Yeah.
And they came back to a place that they left that was fucking horrible. And they were like, no, let's go back. Let's go be a part of this. And then they ultimately all just died a miserable death.
I was going to say, did they go back and then end up coming back?
Well, no, because a lot of them didn't really have a whole lot to contribute. We didn't. So the Operation Paperclip thing, where we recruited all the fucking Nazis to help build our rockets and stuff, and we're just no, they're probably fine now. They didn't really, that was all. We're just gonna sweep that. This Werner von Braun guy, we built the bomb first. He didn't get to it, but we really fucking need him to not. We need him to not be in Russia. It was a whole. You remember Hungry Hippos?
Yeah.
We were just munching up these fucking Germans after the war because we instantly we were frenemies anyway with Russia, if you recall. And so all of a sudden during peacetime, when we divided Berlin in half, and all of a sudden it was full standoff with the Russians, we were like, shit, it's going to pop off with Russia. So let's get all these fucking scientists to come to America before they can get them. They were doing the same thing. They got a handful of them as well. So when it works out in our favor, crimes against humanity, we'll just we'll make that go away. Just build some rockets for us. You're probably fine. We'll say you were a butcher, turned rocket scientist. It's fine. You taught second grade. You come build rockets for us.
You taught second grade.
it's just, witness protection. It's fine.
Yeah.
Who cares? There was no internet back then. You couldn't just look this guy up. Meanwhile, all these American fathers come home from the war, send their kids to school, and all of a sudden the kids are like, oh, this dude is building rockets and he's really cool. And they're like, what's his name? What?
Right.
You got some kraut teacher? And they're like, no, he's cool. He was like, he taught second grade over there.
No, it's auto shop, Dad.
And there was
we're building a rocket.
and there was no way that the dad could be like, hold on a second, fucking, hey Siri, who's this Von Braun character?
You turn on my phone.
Oh, sorry. I can safely say that in my house.
No, I'm gonna have.
Oh, results for who's this Von Braun character? Now your algorithm is fucked.
I have all kinds of Nazi shit on my phone now. God.
Y'all are welcome.
Jesus. I'm going to be getting emails.
Yeah, I probably signed you up for, Knockwurst of the Month Club. Which is it's not a bad club to be a part of.
I'm not a fan of knockwurst.
No, I like it. I like a good mild sauce, good soft sausage.
Me and sausage don't mix.
I know. Yeah, we've had this.
There's bad stuff happens when I eat sausage.
Yeah, I've
certain sausage.
I've borne witness to. Christ! All right, I got to get off of this. Are we done? We're at an hour and a half. I feel like we could probably wrap this up.
Probably.
So what's the moral of the story? Did we even come up with a name of the episode?
I don't even think so.
Fuck.
Philadelphia Freedom.
No. That's not. That's probably not. All right.
We'll figure it out.
How to start a cult? All right. Well, yeah, we'll figure it out offline. For all you out there in podcast land, what you want to do is you want to buy some Still Austin bourbon. You want to go to the Knockwurst of the Month Club. Use promo code WHIP.
Go fight your dog. See what happens.
Yeah, small dog first. I recommend small dog, even though they got the little nippy teeth. Like I'd almost rather get bit by a heavy jaw than like by the little nippy teeth. Because some of them shits are like razor sharp, and it's not fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, fight an animal and write in with your experience. If you have video, that would be amazing.
Yeah, send us video.
Yes. Fight an animal, see if you can figure out where your strength threshold is. And we'll talk about it on the next episode of The Average Minute. Until then, this is temporary producer, guest, host.
I didn't bring one note.
No.
I don't think I had to.
Whip and Average Johnson saying, we'll see you in the rough. Bye.